Good morning. Today I'm going to talk about the love of God, which I do a lot, and go from there. I don't know where God's going to take us. But I think the reason why a lot of people don't come to God, there's a hardness of heart there. And a lot of times it's because the ones that say they represent God, they don't see the attributes of Jesus in their life. They don't see the peace and the joy and the love and the freedom and the contentment and those things that were the attributes of Christ when he was here, showing compassion to people in their brokenness, showing them love. And his desire for them was to just live a different way, which was, "Come to me, all who are weary and carry heavy burdens, and I will give you rest." I was thinking of the woman at the well. I'm going to hit on that real quick. So he's there with her and he's asking her for a drink of water. And she says, well, for one, men didn't talk to women. She was there at noon, so she had shame and guilt from the life that she'd led. She'd had 5 husbands, and the man she was living with wasn't her husband. And Jesus brought that up, but he didn't condemn her for it. What he was doing was trying to reroute her into fulfillment in him, instead of in the things that she's searching for in men over and over again and never being satisfied. But as we submit our life to God, and I think that that's where the key is, where a lot of people don't get to, is that submission of our will back to God. And when we do that, that's when we experience that peace and that joy and that contentment that comes from God. Being His, knowing that He loves us, being rooted in that foundation of who He is. And then what happens out of that is, as we do, those characteristics of His start flowing from us into other people. Now we're not striving to receive, it's flowing out of us. We know who we are, we're rooted in that, and first 45 years of my life I never experienced that. I was always searching, always striving, going down a lot of different roads that ended up leaving me empty and broken and alone. But when I came and it wasn't in a church service that I experienced this. I just came to the end of myself and said, God, I'm going to follow you. I don't know what this is going to look like. There's no conditions. Because when there's conditions, there's a root of self-centeredness in there. And you have to submit your life to God without conditions and just say, you know what, God, I'm going to trust you. I'm going to pursue your love. I'm going to pursue you with everything that I am, and just see what happens. And I can tell you the last 6.5 years, I haven't had any guilt, shame, or condemnation in my life. I've had conviction, and that is I just need to turn from certain things in my life. But my focus isn't on my behavior. It's on the love of God and understanding who He is. And when I did, I experienced peace. I experienced joy. I experienced contentment in my life that I never had before. And you do that by submitting your will back to God. I think what happens is, because of the fall, we're in the line of Adam. So we're apart from God. And we have the free will all throughout to turn back to God. But we are on the throne of our hearts. And we are the one that, we're our own God, basically. And until we get to that point of saying, you know what, God, I'm going to trust you with my life. And sometimes it takes tragedy. Sometimes it takes brokenness from our own choices, and then others, they just pursue God. He makes Himself known to them, and then all of a sudden they're set free. All of us, it's different paths to get there, but I just know that when you truly experience that love of God, you don't want to go back to what you went to before. You know, that's what idolatry is searching for that fulfillment and satisfaction in all these other things, whether it's a relationship, whether it's power, whether it's prestige, whether it's looks. We go to these things trying to get that fulfillment, and it never works. It's very short term, and in the end it'll end up tearing us apart. But when we come to God and understand who He is, the beauty of His love for us, then we get back into that right order as before the garden, as if we never ate the tree. We're back in that harmony with God, that shalom, that peace with God comes back into our life. There's no better way to live. I love y'all. I hope you have a blessed day.